What's up, everybody? Thanks for stopping by my channel, Esteemed Queen and Mentality. Be sure that you like, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell down below so that way you get to know when I post all of my tea talks. Hope everybody is doing well, swell, thriving, and surviving, child. School's almost out. The kids are about to be all out and about. So, congratulations to all that have graduated. All that have graduated, all that are going to further their educational goals and accomplishments, going to college. Shouts out to all of you. I'm not going to tarry too long, but I do have a little story time for y'all. Got a little story time for y'all. So go ahead and get your water, get your wine, get whatever it is that you sipping on. Get it and bring it close. We will be having our second book club meeting for May on the 31st. All right. All that information is down below. Did you know that you can actually go onto Patreon, right? And when you go onto Patreon, even if you decide not to enter into the membership club, there are some posts up there that you are actually able to see regarding backstage, behind the scenes, book club, etc., etc., Doubtfire, etc., etc. So don't feel as if it's a membership club and you have to have a monthly membership that you still can't go over there and check out what I post. It's not always the same thing that I post on my other platforms. So just to give y'all a little insight, so all that information is down below. But now that you got your beverage of choice, come on close. Now, this tea talk I need to do because I don't think I've done it before. And the only reason why it came up is because a couple weeks ago, I was in the midst of catering an event. And I had, I guess, one of those moments where you realize something from the past and how it makes sense now in the future. And so when I was growing up, my dad was real big on if we were to do something right, if he was to catch us in the act doing something good, or if he just thought something was just like beyond clever and etc. He always used to tell us, pat yourself on the back. Now, when I was growing up, I didn't understand that. I did it because he told me to. But getting older, I didn't really use that philosophy a lot. It wasn't part of my pattern as much as it is now or back then. It wasn't until I did this catering event, it was my biggest contract that I've had in almost the 10 years that Stella Bistro Foods have been open. It was the biggest contract that I had to date. And so with a bigger contract comes what? Anxiety. So I'm literally planning everything out to a T. You can't tell me shit. Like, I got up every day, as y'all know, because I won't hear. And I made sure everything was to the T, cross the I's, all of that. Backup plans, B, C, you name it. Because my anxiety was so high. And it was so high because, not because I couldn't do it. It was because at this point in time, it's like, it was kind of like my Top Chef moment again. It was kind of like my Iron Chef moment again. And I felt like I had more to prove to myself than I had to prove as far as like being able to be 5-star, how Stella comes highly recommended, how Stella has accolades, so on and so forth. I think it was more of a me thing, me doing it, me realizing, like a friend of mine told me, like, sometimes it's okay, it's great for you to be humble, but sometimes you gotta claim that shit. You've done what you need to do, what you gotta do to do now what you want to do. And so even though it's real easy for me to kind of like emotionally just be like, oh, you know, she's like, oh hell, that's spectacular. Like you true to your shit. And it wasn't until this catering event I was like, man, like everything is moving so smoothly, so on and so forth. And it was because I was built for it. I was built for it. And it's okay. It's okay for you to pat yourself on the back sometimes. It's okay for you to pat yourself on the back sometimes, because you know what? Between my teenage years to up until I hit 30, those 15-20 years were kind of gray, you know, as far as planting my feet and telling life what I wanted, not life telling me the cards that they were going to deal me. I refused. And so I was so focused in making sure that my feet were sturdy, I didn't really think too much about encouragement in my corner. I was always in the ring willing to go 10 rounds with doubt and fear and, you know, all those negative things that keep people from being successful. And with me going all 10 rounds with all 10 adjectives and feelings, I didn't care about when I backed up and, you know, in a corner, who had my spit bucket and who had my mouthpiece and who was coaching me. I just knew as long as my feet were planted and I knew not to turn that hip inward, you know what I'm saying? I already knew, like, I was good. I was going to win. The thing with winning sometimes is that within that gray area, I did not know, in the midst of me pretty much just being in combat mode that whole entire time and defending my own and showing my own and holding my own. These days and times when I have catering events and things like that, I pat myself on the back because it really makes sense now that back then my dad was already telling me how to encourage myself. And there's nothing wrong with you doing it. Shit, you scratch your back, right? So why can't you pat it? You scratch your head, right? So why not pat it? I'm just saying, because now that I look at it, now that I'm older, you know, I thought it was silly at first, but now, no, it makes perfect sense. Encourage yourself. Pat yourself on the back. You made it another day. Pat yourself on the back. You opened a business. Pat yourself on the back. You graduated. Pat yourself on the back. You beat addiction. Pat yourself on the back. You decided to do something that's within the boundaries. Pat yourself on the back. Of self-love, pat yourself on the back. Of caring for yourself, pat yourself on the back. You said no to naysayers and you stood up for yourself, pat yourself on the back. You were being part of a game changer movement, pat yourself on the back. You support smart decisions, pat yourself on the back. Because you know what? It takes a strong mind to break a chain, and it takes strategy to stay out of them, right? And a lot of times I find myself now patting myself on the back. You don't need encouragement from others for you to live how you want to, live out how you want to, as long as it's safe, how you want to. And there's no shame and blame in you encouraging yourself. Now there's a fine line between arrogant, cocky, and encouraging yourself. Depending on your character, you'll find out when you're getting close to the line, you're getting too hot to the fire, because shit will start dysfunctioning, destruction, you name it. But until then, in the meantime, in between time, you pat yourself on the back for overcoming, for accomplishing. Do it when no one's looking. Do it when people are looking. Hell, it may be contagious. That's what we need. I'm just saying. So, once the contract was over, I think I slept for damn near 40 hours. I felt like sleep was a full-time job afterwards, you know, because, you know, I'm dealing with churn, you know, and I'm dealing with churn that's coming up in a day and age where they don't come up how I was raised. You know, us millennials, some of us, you know, we on the right path, we on the right track. Some of us are trying to choose which path to go around. But just understand, when you pat yourself on the back, you find more acceptance and you realizing that you have self-confidence and you being able to be what you want and to achieve what you want. So the better you feel about yourself, the higher your achievements are going to be. And I like to think within due time, people will find emotional achievement more than egotistical achievement. But that is a Doubtfire talk for another time. So y'all let me know down below. Do y'all pat yourself on the back? Have y'all heard of that? Now, mind you, my dad was brought up in the 60s. So, but, I mean, hey, it is what it is. Encourage yourself. Be your own cheerleader. You know, if haters can hate on you, give them something to hate. All right, from a distance. Pat yourself on the back. Keep encouraging yourself. Continue to get up. Support smart decisions. And I will talk to y'all later. Be sure that you like, share, and subscribe. I will see y'all in the treehouse in the warrior community later on this month. We will have book club in June. So until next time, I will talk to y'all later. Bye.